Tap tonight in the ACC. 12 days ago, the Fighting Irish handed then number 1 Duke their first and only loss of the season. Tonight, the rematch in Durham. Number 2 Notre Dame, number 3 Duke coming up. One look at the ACC standings will tell you this is more than just two rivals. It's more than just the second and third ranked teams in the country. The winner lies dormant for the ACC title because there is no ACC tournament this year. It's all about getting it done in the regular season. Hi, everybody. Alongside Quinn Kesnick, I'm Chris Cotter. And Q, in those 12 days now, Duke was able to play Virginia, and they got a huge win in overtime. And to nobody's surprise, it was Joe Robertson who netted the game winner.
He has been Mr. Money for Duke this year. He had 7 points against North Carolina, the overtime game winner. Well, he did it again against Virginia. A 5-point night, and he canned the winner in overtime. Versatility is his game. He's got ice in his veins. His timing has been uncanny. He's delivered the exclamation point twice for the Blue Devils.
For Notre Dame, they've got a super sophomore in Pat Cavanaugh. He's really made a big leap from his freshman year, hasn't he?
Well, he's number 1 in the country in assists per game. He's gritty. He's willing to get bloodied, taking the ball to the inside, and all Irish eyes are smiling when Cavanaugh is spinning the rock to his teammates.
Q, the offense has been good for Notre Dame. The defense has been something special, though.
These guys are next level. Jack Keelty, Arden Cohen, Kyle Thornton, all seniors or grad students, 6'2", 200, 6'2", 215, 6'1". They're men. These guys are the warlords. They're taking names, taking numbers. Nobody messes with the Notre Dame defense.
Let's throw in Liam Entenmann behind them in goal, and they are stout on the back end. Jake Naso will take the opening draw for Duke. Kyle Gallagher for Notre Dame, and we're underway. Naso wins, as he did so often in the initial battle between these two teams. Gallagher was only 2 of 11 at the faceoff dot, so Naso continues that dominance here in the rematch. Duke got behind in that first meeting to Notre Dame, and they were never really able to climb out of the hole as that defense so stifling for the Irish. And Liam Entenmann, we mentioned him. His numbers are fantastic. Second in the country in both goals against and save percentage. The freshman in front. Oh, tried to find Robertson, and they almost connected, but the deflection goes right into Entenmann's cross. The Irish with a successful clear, and that's no small task considering they failed on 8 attempts 12 days ago. There's Mike Adler, who's also had a sensational year, Q, in goal for Duke.
Big game against Virginia, had 16 saves, had 17 stops against North Carolina, both of those overtime wins. Interesting to note, Duke now covering Cavanaugh, Patrick Cavanaugh, 50-51 in blue with JT Giles Harris, 2 in white.
Adler quickly makes his first save of the game, gets involved, and is able to sit on the rebound and keep it in the crease.
This game projects to maybe be a little lower scoring, Chris, than some we've seen in the ACC this season. I don't think we'll see teams. We could, you never know. But both of these teams lately have been playing strong defense.
O'Neal gives it away in the turnover, gives it back to the Irish. 22 turnovers for Duke in that first meeting, yeah.
That's where they beat him, in the middle of the field.
Westland getting hammered but keeps possession. Up to McCann. Now over to David Lipka. Transfer from Syracuse. On that second midfield line for the Irish.
The capable group. Morrison Meyer, 12 in white, has been most successful there. He's got 8 goals.
Sean Leahy in that group as well, the transfer from Providence. 78 points in 36 career games for him. This is going to be a wide open look for Will York. He just bounced it over the top.
Lipka, 66 in blue, inverts. He's looking to pass the ball. Duke's slow to go to him.
Shot by Leahy. Stays with the Irish. Still 16 to shoot for Notre Dame. Here's Kavanaugh. JT Giles Harris on him. Adler goes to his offside and makes his third save of the game.
Brilliant stop, and the rebound control equally as impressive.
Will Duke look to attack? O'Neal had a notion on the skip pass to get it to Ledman, getting more and more playing time. He scored once late in the game-tying goal actually against Virginia to send that game into overtime, where Robertson eventually won it. Number one with the ball in his cross. This Duke team is so deep.
Notre Dame's defense is a man-to-man scheme. They're quick to double team. They win on-ball matchups, especially with their poles.
Sowers spins now to his right, back to his left, tried to get to Denenza. That's ball on the carpet. Another turnover. 3 possessions, 3 turnovers for the Blue Devils. Now Kavanaugh. Sowers is stuck on the field, so keep an eye on that. 23 for Duke. Will he be able to clear? And Duke now will get some substitutions in.
One thing Notre Dame has done really well this season is score outside of the settled 6-on-6 half-field set. They've scored a lot of goals off face-offs. Their extra man is number 1 in the country. They've scored on rebounds. They find ways with their short-stick defensive midfielders to score in transition.
We're good. We're okay.
Westland now quickly inside. That's where York has made a living this year, but Duke defensively was able to deflect the ball out. Still 30 seconds to shoot for the Irish.
What you're going to see from this offense tonight with a flag down here. Pretty aggressive attempt by Westland.
23 offsides, 30 seconds foul. White 23 offsides, 30 seconds.
Well, this is not a good start if you're John Danowski, head coach of Duke. A foul early in this ball game, just feeding into Notre Dame's number 1 rated extra man on the season. 15 of 22 so far this year. The best in the country. Will York, 7 extra man goals. The tall lefty, bottom of your screen off to the right.
York is 99. There you see him on the bottom. It's Jacoboyce now up top to Dobson. He's got an absolute hammer from outside. The freshman from Florida. That's Jacoboyce. Westland now coming upfield. Got some room. Creases his angle. Skip pass over to Dobson. Duke able to kill off the penalty. Now back at even strength. Here comes York. Kavanaugh spins free and scores.
Terrific move by Kavanaugh, the sophomore out of Chaminade. Uses the pick, gets a step. Inside roll as Carpenter's just a little too aggressive at the point of contact. And when Kavanaugh turns off this drive, look how much real estate he can deal with. It's a left-handed drive. He turns, switches to his right hand, and he's still got some angle to work with and beats Adler 5-hole. Well choreographed by St. Patrick Kavanaugh.
Looked like he might have caught a stick in the grill from Terry Lindsay, too. No call, but Kavanaugh will take the goal, I'm sure. 1-0 Irish here early. Naso and Gallagher again get a whistle on the face-off.
Like Naso got his stick caught in between the legs, and that'll be a loose ball push. Notre Dame offense this year, I wouldn't call them a great passing team. You look at their stats, and their assist totals are good, but when you watch them on tape, you don't see many hockey assists. Okay, so how they operate is they're tremendous athletes. They beat you off the dodge and score on assisted goals. Or many times they'll beat you off the dodge and make one simple pass for a goal. as opposed to, Chris, let's say a Maryland team you may watch later this weekend. The ball's zipping. It's like bing, 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 ball reversal. That is rare with this Notre Dame offense. It's a power offense.
Bo Meyer powers his way up into the front of the crease, but loses the ball, and Westland definitely goes into traffic and picks it up. Plenty of time for the Irish, still more than 30 seconds to shoot. Look how big York is, number 99.
Covering York with a midfield defender, bumping an extra pole up to cover a midfielder.
Baishau Barger now coming upfield, back behind to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh with quickness, and the shovel shot scores! That's patented now. Notre Dame with a 2-0 lead over Duke. ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified April 18th to the 25th this week as ACC Unity Week. As we mentioned in the open, 12 days since their first meeting, Notre Dame outlasting Duke 13-8, handing the Blue Devils their first and to this point only loss of the year.
You know what stands out about that game? Notre Dame scored twice off of faceoffs, 2 extra man goals. They had 2 rebound goals, and I thought they had 1 goal that Mike Adler probably could have had. So that's 7 of their 13 goals. Came in a little bit of unconventional ways. You know, their offense at times isn't gorgeous, but they're getting it done. They're getting it done. Their defense is as advertised. Keelty, Cohen, and Thornton, and some stout, short, stick defensive midfielders. You throw in a strong face-off game in the goaltending, and this team's dreaming of a national title.
But also, point of reference that Michael Sowers had 1 point in that game. He bounced back with a hat trick against Virginia in the interim.
This defense has
this game,
3.
nothing but a penalty.
They have 3 number 1 cover guys. Okay, Kyle Thornton, grad transfer from Penn, was the best defender at Penn. Cohen and Keelty would start for any team in the country and be the number 1.
Montgomery with the shot, can't get it on Cage, and Duke has yet to get a shot on Cage tonight.
That's a little bit of a rust possession. You've got to work long into the shot clock, take body blows at the Notre Dame defense. I would get the ball behind. I think they're more vulnerable when you get the ball behind the net, draw double teams, and look inside.
Took the Blue Devils half of the first quarter to just get 1 shot off that never even made it into the goal, to the goal.
This is game 1 of a 2-game road trip for Notre Dame, arriving in the Carolinas yesterday. They'll play North Carolina, the Tar Heels, on Sunday.
Jacoboy's being harassed by Brower. Weston on the shorty, tries to take advantage, but just wide on the shot. Now the race to the sideline for possession. And it looks like it'll stay with the Irish.
Notre Dame's going to test your on-ball defense. They've got a lot of good isolation dodgers, guys who are going to the goal for themselves.
One of them right here, Kavanaugh. A.T. Giles Harris on him. Just peppering him, but he gets free a bit. Now he finds York and he scores!
Not a good start for John Danowski. Not a good start. Late in the shot clock, too. JT Giles Harris gets through the pick well. He's in good position. He turns Kavanaugh back. They double team off of York. You see the midfield defender, 11 in white, slides to double team. JT can't get back on Will York, and that is all Will York does. Bucknell, former captain, grad student out of Chicago, and the big lefty. Look at his numbers this season. 17 goals, no assists. He's a pro-level shooter.
6'4", 215. Just plants himself on that crease. Now 10-1, the shots favoring the Irish to start this game. Naso wins another face-off. This time against Charlie Leonard, he's won 3 of 4, but mirroring the last time these two teams met. Naso really having a good day at the dot, but Duke not being able to convert it into offensive opportunities. Ledman now. Behind the cage, Sowers has a little bit of a step. Close down quickly. That's Denenza, the freshman. Aiden Denenza from St. Anthony's. Teammate of O'Neal's there. Loses it temporarily, but gets it back. Look how aggressive Notre Dame is on defense. Even their shorties come right out.
They smell blood right now. Look at them play on the hips. Running hip to hip. Easy save by Antiman, and they're off to the races. It was John Danowski, Chris, who told us our middies have to beat their man and draw double teams. They didn't do that in South Bend.
Nick Harris with the shot. It'll stay with Notre Dame as Mike Adler makes the save.
Impressed with the early offense from the Fighting Irish this season. They have 9 goals from their defensive midfielders off of breakouts. Entenmann makes the easy stop, rebound control. They get out for a potential numbers game.
Meyer had 4 goals the last time these two teams hooked up. That's Rick's son, in case you were wondering, Mo Meyer. This is Carter Parlett. They really like him, and a nice feed into Lipka. 49 seconds to shoot still for Griffin Westland and company.
Hey, slow, Griff. We got 45. We're good. Slow, Griff.
Here's Meyer.
Easy, fellas, easy.
Still 34 to shoot for the Irish.
He's not bashful. Supremely talented athlete, 12 in blue, can get downhill. He can get a step and free up his hands. Dangerous, dangerous Dodger.
13-2, the shots in favor of the Irish. Now Weston's got his defender hung up. Adler coming out to meet him. York in front. The shovel that couldn't get anything on it. Fortunate for Duke that time, and the Blue Devils pick up the loose ball.
Schamberger, 17 in white, making his first start of the season with a nice check inside.
Good for Raines. I know his dad Bucky's watching here in Atlanta.
Got to get Sowers involved, got to get Joe Robertson involved. Brennan O'Neill needs his touches.
Caputo now.
I think the answer, Chris, is behind the net.
Pallenbeck and his D-middies are so athletic. Montgomery, Robertson, little jab step. Get in front of the goal, but didn't have an opening. Now Nakai uses his quickness to get there, off the pipe. And then we'll get a whistle in the crease from Nakai, and it'll be a turnover.
Good look from Nakai. He hasn't scored in
quickness.
Yeah, he hasn't scored in 3 games. He looks like himself tonight. But I love the quick restart by Notre Dame. What Notre Dame did well there, Chris. A crease violation. Get the ball right away. Spread the field. Be whistle ready on the restart. And get out without a fight, basically. Duke wasn't able to set up any kind of ride.
Another failed cleared. Mentioned it early on in the game. Duke struggling clearing the ball in South Bend in their first meeting. And once again, now giving the Irish another offensive opportunity.
Those will kill you, those second chances. 8 failed clears. Notre Dame's got a strong face-off game, a great defense, and an outstanding goalie, and they're just owning possessions.
That's going to be an easy call right there, pushing the back. That's going to go against Duke again, and Coach Danowski cannot be happy with this start in this first quarter. Second time they've gone a man down. This time Jake Caputo was going to sit for a push in the back.
Got to give Coach Kevin Corrigan of Notre Dame a lot of credit, as you said. They've had 12 days off. He told us it's hard to have super intense practices when the games are spread so far. He said, honestly, this time, I just wanted to get the game day healthy. It was kind of like a pause in their season where they were able to work on some individual skills. But they're sharp. They're sharp off the plane.
Irish weren't able to get a shot in their first man-up opportunity. Second one of the game here for Kavanaugh and company. There's Kavanaugh. Quick shot. York backs it
Kavanaugh's
up.
the trigger man. He's the passer. He's the guy with the eyes. They have two shooters here who just scare the heck out of me. Eric Dobson up top, the lefty, number 8, and then 99 on the left wing.
Kavanaugh scores. All Irish early.
This is a classic Notre Dame lacrosse this season. This is why this team's got their sights set on Memorial Day. It's a franchise. They've never won the national championship. I got to tell you, with this group, this is their best chance ever. Kavanaugh's come to play tonight. That's his third goal. This one on extra man. A little right-handed curl where he takes the ball to the middle. The kid takes a beating, and he keeps on ticking. The guys in the Golden Dome helmets are legit, and they are here for the long haul.
Gallagher back at the X for Naso, and he is quick on that whistle. Wins another one. Can Duke finally break through? Robertson now behind the cage.
Who can win a matchup
Kyle
for Duke
Thornton
right
on
now?
him.
Who can beat their man on Duke's offense? Who can run by their defender, draw two, and then handle the ball and move it on to the next guy or take a shot?
Kevin Quigley, guy who has 50 career goals, number 12 for Duke, now in the game at that midfield spot. Coach Danowski going to give him a shot.
You're a young player watching this game. I want you to watch the defensive posture of the players covering the ball on defense for Notre Dame. Watch their feet, watch their hand positioning, watch their angle play.
Sowers. Quickly inside O'Neal, tried the backhand, and over his shoulder, just way too much traffic. Eventually, Enseman picking it up. Final 5 seconds of this first quarter, he just gives it a heave, and the horn sounds. A quarter dominated by the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, up 4-0 over the time. His second game-winning goal in overtime this year, also beat North Carolina. And the Irish win the face-off, and a quick opportunity here, just pings it off the pipe. Westland is there to pick up the rebound, though, and it stays with Notre Dame to start this second quarter.
Notre Dame came into this game 66% face-offs. Okay, you combine that with the number 2 scoring defense in the country. I think 99 Will York has at top of the box. And that's the formula. Face-offs, defense.
McCann working on Caputo. Jackaboys, just wide.
Talented 55. I like him off the dodge especially. He is lightning fast.
Hat-trick in the last game. Kavanaugh. Westland, Waywood had a good opportunity, just couldn't quite gain control of it. Still 35 seconds to shoot. Here's McCann. Oh, Westland had a notion. You saw Kavanaugh. They just couldn't quite connect. Right on the doorstep. Just the second turnover of the game so far for the Irish. JT Giles Harris. Now we may have an offside here against Duke. Is that the second
That's a
one
killer.
we've had tonight?
That's a killer.
And quickly the Irish come down. Boy, Hallenbeck had a wide open shot. No one to back it up, so it stays with Duke.
A senior played at Culver. He lives in Indianapolis. He's got 4 goals this year, and you see why. That was a wicked whip shot.
Again, the JT Giles Harris.
Wow,
Duke
this
having
is a
all
colossal
kinds of
failure by
problems
Duke.
clearing it.
In the middle of the field, just a colossal failure. They're spacing, they're running themselves out of bounds, offsides violation, confusion on the sideline.
Coach Danowski and Coach Ron Caputo talking things over. Parlett. Kavanaugh quickly inside. Lipka scores, and the Irish continue to pour it on.
This is one of the best passing goals I've seen from Notre Dame in ACC action this season. A multiple pass goal. Parlett left-handed, the freshman from Florida, draws a little skirmish there, the eyes of the defense. He finds Kavanaugh, who is the main assist guy. As I said earlier, Kavanaugh represents over 40% of the team's assist. The kick inside to Lipka, the Syracuse transfer. Notre Dame on the board again. If there was a team, Chris, who won free agency in the offseason, it was this Notre Dame Fighting Irish team. They added 4 or 5 key pieces, graduate transfers.
More so even than Duke with the Sowers acquisition.
Duke has 16 grad students on their roster, but Notre Dame's have made more of a difference this year. Starters and Kyle Thornton. Lipka coming off the bench in the second midfield. Will York. 17 goals. And the face-off man, Kyle Gallagher. Big difference makers.
Making a huge difference in this game. It's all Notre Dame 5-0, looking to make it even more, but it sails over Adler's head.
Kavanaugh's been involved. Kavanaugh's been involved in every goal. 51 in blue.
Irish moving quickly. Dobson.
Freshman, lefty, out of Florida. Flamethrower, love the hitch and go. He pumps the defender and then goes.
Kavanaugh again. On JT Giles Harris. It's a big matchup here. Adler was there, taking a stop on York. 6 saves for Adler here early. Leischow was able to clear it for Duke. Shot advantage 23-3 now in Notre Dame's favor. 3 shots for Duke.
One good goal scoring chance. Montgomery hitting the crossbar.
Now Caputo. Here comes Sowers. And he scores to break the drought.
Number 23, Michael Sowers scores for Duke.
Sowers known for his speed and quickness. Watch him use this pick and accelerate. Keelty goes underneath the Caputo screen, 13 in white, and that just right there creates enough separation where Sowers can jump shot, free up his hands. He changes level on the finish, and Duke gets their first goal. As you see, Sowers a little quiet in his last 3 games. This is a guy who's number 4 all-time in career points. He's, 6 points away now from passing Connor Fields of Albany into 3rd place?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, there was certainly a thought that with a huge year, he could catch Lyle Thompson at 400 career points. That's not going to happen. Still an outside chance of him catching Pat Spencer for the all-time assists record, but he's still 20 away from Spencer.
Got to tell you, that may be the biggest goal that
last
Sowers.
5 or 6 games.
Maybe the biggest goal Sowers has scored so far in his Duke career.
Well, it's one that Duke had to have, yet they were still throwing away another offensive opportunity with a turnover to get it back to Duke, or to get back to Notre Dame, rather. Parlett. Oh, shakes his man. York just misfires to Parlett. Irish trying to prevent the over and back and can't do it. O'Neal will look to break quickly.
Robertson and O'Neal have been entirely silent in this game. 8 in white, 34 in white.
51, under, right,
Caputo down the alley, now backs up top. Here's Nakai. Miss Dyson Williams coming in out of the box open. Here's O'Neal. That's 2 in a row for the Blue Devils. His first shot of the night, and he buries it.
You called it, Chris. They catch Notre Dame on a sloppy sub. You'll see Dyson Williams comes in. The defense overreacts to 51 in white, and they slough in. O'Neal curls outside of that, catches it dead center from about 13 yards. 3/4 arm release, as you see the #1 recruit in the country. Super talented freshman Brennan O'Neal from St. Anthony's, Long Island, Bayshore. Good size, 6'2", 230. He can ride, he passes, he can dodge. His eye-popping high school and club highlights were the most fun social media. And his clips were viral on a weekly basis when he was a high school player. The most hyped freshman that I've seen in the last 2 decades.
Gallagher fighting back now, winning a couple of draws. He's not afraid to pull the trigger either, as his shot bounced wide, but the Irish kept it. Tried to feed it inside to Kavanaugh. Now there's a massive scrum. Coming out of there with it is Tyler Carpenter, as you would expect.
Down 5-0. All you're thinking is the next goal. Let's just get the next goal. The next goal. Suddenly, you get the next goal here. You're Duke. You're only down by 2.
And Sowers, it's a little bit of room, just wide. He scored the first one. You mentioned how important that was, and O'Neal followed suit. Here's Robertson. Now let's see if Duke can get him going. The third of the big 3.
Man-to-man defense. Notre Dame plays the ball pretty hard, but they support. They'll double team quickly.
Tough angle. Hensman goes down and swipes it.
That was smooth, I tell you. The lanky sophomore from Long Island, maybe his best save of the game. He's outstanding, Liam Entenmann. I think he's just scratching the surface. I think he's a guy who can represent Team USA someday and play pro for a number of years. That's how good I think he can be. He's got to clean up some of his technique stuff when they move him from pipe to pipe, but he's got the frame, he's got the temperament. Love everything about him.
Great when he leaves the goal mouth too, isn't he, Q? Because they're so efficient on their clearing.
Making clear and sharp outlet passes, very little indecision.
That's a great pass and a goal. What a great give and go from Kavanaugh, finding York, and the Irish strike again.
Kavanaugh's got 6 points. He's had a hand in every single Notre Dame goal. This assist to the cutting Will York, 3-goal lead for Rudy in the
Irish up 6-2 in the second. Pat Kavanaugh has scored half of those goals, and he's assisted Q on the other half.
His nickname is St. Patrick. They may be calling him the Pope after this game. Doing it with the ball on his stick with the inside roll. Eyes are always up. He and Will York, 99 in blue, developing that symbiotic relationship. On the extra man, he's been lethal all season. There was some talk that the Tewaaraton was a 3-horse race earlier this year. Sowers, Gray, and Jared Bernhardt of Maryland. Not too fast, folks. Patrick Kavanaugh is every bit the player and deserves, I think, the consideration, obviously. And if he continues to play like this for the remainder of the season, the award may be his.
And if his team continues to win, as we mentioned in the open, a win in this game It's whoever is able to get that victory in a very good spot in terms of controlling their own destiny for winning the ACC. No automatic bid, as you know, for the NCAA tournament out of the ACC. Not enough teams. But still, I mean, it'll be a cold day in a few places when the ACC champion isn't invited as an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Here's Caputo. They got Williams again coming in out of the box, number 51. He's looking to set a pick for O'Neal.
Nice defense by Arden Cohen, 36 in blue.
Here comes the Kai. Robertson just couldn't handle the pass, and look at Thornton all over him.
It's a confident defender when he stretches to the sideline, and now you're dealing with the, late in the shot clock for Duke.
Dyson's going to have to make something happen against a shorty. Gets to the middle of the field, and Entenmann is there. Big collision with Sowers. The ball goes towards the end line, and it's going to go back to Duke. Now will Sowers look to move quickly?
Timeout. It's out of bounds. Timeout.
We get a timeout because it was out of bounds.
44.
The nice shot by Dyson Williams using the earth on Earth Day, and Entenmann moving his feet, moving his body. Your stick's not going to get to all the saves. He does a good job of shifting his weight, getting his body behind that shot.
Good timeout by Duke right there. 5:55 left to go in this second quarter, down 4. This has been an amazing year in the ACC, Q, as we thought it might be. Everybody beating up on everybody else, and Thursday night has been a great showcase for the league and all the great games we've had. It just looked like Duke was the class of the league, but Syracuse early handing Virginia a big loss. North Carolina looked good. Virginia comes back and beats Notre Dame. Duke beats North Carolina on a Thursday night.
14 and 2010. And I believe that this team represents his best shot to take that gold trophy back to South Bend.
He and Anish seeing the same barber, meaning nobody. We're talking about Daniel Cassidy, one of his D-middies, and I was like, you got the Sean Cassidy look, rocking coach. Entenmann is there again. Great start for him tonight.
Making his job easy. That's a little bit of sloppy and rushed outlet. But Duke's settling for some big-time maybe shots.
Dyson scores. It's 6-3.
This is all about the outlet. Entenmann's only a sophomore. He'll learn. They've been playing defense a while. You want to be really careful with that outlet. He overthrows it at the midline, and next thing you know, Duke counterattacks. They got some numbers. The defense is out of sorts. The failure to clear usually comes back to haunt you.
And how about Dyson accepting a new role this year, running out of the box often on that midfield line with O'Neal, Robertson, and Sowers down at attack. Dyson Williams, high-level recruit last year, and he did a bunch of their games before the season got canceled. He got off to a slow start, but then really started heating up their last 3 or 4 games before the cancellation. He's done well in his role this year.
He has great body language. 51 in white, regardless of the score, regardless of what role he's playing hard, he's having fun. I think visually he represents what you hope your players look like. He's flying around making plays. He's always got a positive attitude. He just emanates positivity.
And think what could the potential be next year with Michael Sowers moving on. You lose one of the greatest players in college lacrosse history, and your attack line won't. How much will it drop off with Robertson coming back as a grad student, then O'Neal and Dyson Williams going down low? Talk about teams beating each other up. Yeah.
Syracuse on the road at Virginia on Saturday. That's a noon on ESPNU.
With as much as Syracuse is going through right now, Q, a win in one of these last 2 games, whether it's at Virginia or at Notre Dame to end the year, and they're automatic to get into the NCAA tournament, and anything can happen if that happens.
Look, it's a talented offense, even without Chase Scanlon. But the face-off issue against Petey LaSalle and Virginia is going to be tough to deal with. Virginia's a great passing team. Syracuse softball defense has had major issues.
And they ride like a bunch of banshees, and Syracuse hadn't handled that very well these last couple of games. O'Neal trying to get free. Robertson.
Looking much better. Much more crisp in the half-field sets.
Oh, what a great catch by O'Neal. And he got free, but Entenmann is there.
Again, a look without ball movement where a goalie can lock those big eyes on the ball and the stick. It's not like he's turning from side to side. From distance, 14 or 15 yards, you're going to have to get a better look to score against Liam Entenmann, I'll tell you that much.
The Irish just surgical in their clearing. Into Lipka's cross, now under 3.5 to play in this first half. Irish are up 5-0. Duke came storming back to make it a game. Now down 3. Riley Gray now getting some playing time for the Irish. Coach said he has really turned it on here in the second half of the year, so watch out for 17. Kavanaugh.
Hey, head up, Riley. Head up, Riley. Kevin, he's right there. He sees it. Don't call it. What do we do about it?
Good job knocking the ball away, but Lipka is there to pick it up. Now we'll get a timeout by Notre Dame. Coach Corrigan is just incensed.
Angry about the pick that was sent. Bert?
Right around the corner from where the goal screw up.
Shot clock issues right now.
10 seconds for Kavanaugh. He scores! That looked like Adler wasn't sure where the ball was and was surprised that it got behind him, but it did. And Kavanaugh's huge night continues.
Well, this is a partial screen. Maybe it was deflected as well. Pick is set. He's curling right-handed. It's a pass that just gets through bodies, and Adler can't believe it. You got to respect the trajectory of the ball as a goalie, so you got to always be behind the ball. He's probably assuming that Griffin Westland, 43 in blue, is going to make that catch. And that's the 7th point if they give that goal to Kavanaugh.
Yeah, they've given it to him. 4 goals, 3 assists. Mesa wins another, this time from Leonard.
That's the way Coach Corrigan drew it up during the timeout on his little scribble sheet.
I think Corrigan was so busy berating the officials, he never got to draw anything up.
Hey, don't lose 2-6.
Coach Wojcik and company were taking care of that.
Saying earlier how much I enjoyed our time with Coach Corrigan this week. He's using the same headshot on their website as he did back from the late 80s. It's really quite hilarious.
Now Williams.
Down, stack. X. Keep coming, Jack. Keep coming, Jack. Coming. Play ball. Pick on your left. Switch it.
Under 2 to play. Sowers on Thornton. Quickness, Thornton is there though.
Yeah, Notre Dame switches on those picks. They could care less. They are not a matchup-oriented defense.
O'Neal. Forced behind the cage. Robertson up top to Nakai. Now here's Sowers up top. Again checked by Thornton, looking for a pick.
Decent.
Oh, didn't know where the ball was. You could hear Entenmann and ask where it was, but it was right at his feet.
He knew he got a chunk of it, just didn't know where it dribbled. Those are scary too, because sometimes the ball will fall on the ground and you'll kick it. It'll hit the back of your heel and wants to trickle over the goal line. So you kind
Plus,
of
it also oftentimes has English on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, when it lands,
Drops
it'll have
right to your
backspin.
feet. Yeah.
And have backspin.
Hey, dead, Drew. Shot clock is dead.
Super patience now by Notre Dame.
They could hold it for the last shot if they want.
Ball can end up going anywhere off the rebound. Up into your face mask. Under your throat protector.
Kavanaugh now at 33. Notre Dame up 4 can hold it for the last shot.
This will be a great look at Eric Dobson, 8 and blue, big freshman from Florida. Left-handed.
Going up against Terry Lindsay. Gets by him easily. Now up front. That's Jacobus on Carpenter. Now up by the goal. Kavanaugh. Just over 2 seconds to go in the first half.
2 seconds, 2.
Listen to your goalie. Check sticks.
Westland's feed goes out of bounds and the horn sounds. Coach Corrigan has to be pleased with his Fighting Irish. 12 days after handing then #1 Duke their only loss of the season. Now they go on the road in the rematch, get up 5-0, and carry a 7-3 lead into halftime. Pat Kavanaugh game, and Duke's fought back in that second quarter to make a game of it, but every time it seems like they're going to make a run, that man right there, number 51, does something special to keep that margin where it is.
Notre Dame's defense now, given the possession edge, given their strong face-off work, and Liam Entenmann in the goal, makes this defense's job a little easier. It's not like maybe a couple years ago where Notre Dame's defense was great, but they tired out. They fatigued late in games because of that possession advantage wasn't in their favor. So strong up the middle for the Fighting Irish has this team very much in the hunt.
Mesa wins the faceoff and a nice job getting it into Tyler Carpenter's cross. Now Robertson and O'Neal will look to move quickly. And Entenmann just picks up right where he left off at the end of that first half.
I tell you, that's a big-time save. Entenmann played at Chaminade. O'Neal played at St. Anthony's. They are Long Island Catholic League absolute rivals. Okay, these two have faced each other a ton of times. And on that shot, it looked like Entenmann read O'Neal's mind. Like he knew the fake pattern, he knew the rhythm and the cadence of the fakes, and he was down as that ball was left. Either that or he just guessed right. That happens sometime too, Cotter.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than right? If you're lucky, you're doing something right, and right now Entenmann's doing a lot right. Dobson, he got free, and he scores!
Florida flamethrower does this one off the dodge. You see the throwback, he's given the whole alley, and he's just going to run through that hook check. You're going to need to body up big number 8 with something more than just a little hook check with the stick. You're going to have to square up. 6'4", 220, freshman, big-time player from the South. Done a great job this year. Played for Sweet Lax. I know his parents, Rhonda and Chip, are watching.
10 goals on the season now for Dobson. He's from Fleming Island, Florida. Really the only freshman other than Dobson that gets playing time for Coach Corrigan is Carter Parlett, who we've seen earlier as well. He's also from Florida. Ponte Vedra is becoming a hotbed for lacrosse down in Florida. So Coach Corrigan continuing to go to all corners of this country to find talent.
The midfield position typically, Chris, is really the hardest to make the transition between high school and college.
McCann now loses it.
Freshman midfielders usually struggle. There's a lot going on. It's like playing tight end in football. Okay, you got offense, you got defense, you got clearing. There's so many different aspects of being a midfielder at the college level.
Well, a lot of these players coming to these programs, Q are the best players on their high school team. So a guy like Carter Parlett's probably an attackman who scores a ton of goal down in Florida. And there's no room for him as a freshman here on the attack. So coach puts him at that midfield line, right, to get him some experience.
Well, and the difference in schemes too. And the high school, and especially a lot of these clubs, it's kind of freelance. It's kind of hero ball. Like, I get the ball, you guys get out of my way, I go to the net. Well, when you're playing college lacrosse, there's a lot of responsibility-based schemes. There's a lot of schemes that are based on, if this happens, I need to do X. If something else happens, I need to do Y. So there's more thinking on the fly. Plus the athletes, obviously, bigger, faster, stronger, older.
Getting a look at Riley Walsh, 42 in the game for Duke. Over attackman at midfield. Robertson just trying to get free. Cassidy all over him up top. And another turnover. That defense forcing Duke completely out of sync.
I mean, that's a one-pass possession where they're trying to jam the ball inside. We talked about this group in the open. Keelty, Cohen, and Thornton down below. The defensive midfielders, Jose Boyer, Ross Bergmeister, and some great shorties. Harris, Cassidy, McNamara, Hallenbach. Number 2 in the country in goals allowed per game behind Georgetown. I will side with Notre Dame based on strength of schedule. Sorry, Swamp Dogs. Nice win last week, but I got to give this one to the Irish.
Irish clear it. Meyer put it into play.
And this team with the lead is just scary. They can play slow if they want to. Now, if you're Duke, you got to get some transition in this game, Chris, and it may mean taking some risks on defense. They got to get some running going. They got to score in transition. They got to score non-6-on-6 goals.
Riley Gray, second midfield line for the Irish. Here's Kavanaugh. Trying to feed Griffin Westland. That's going to be an over. No, it's not. It was tipped, but possession goes to Duke.
I think you have to push all transition opportunities against Notre Dame this season.
Inside the 11-minute mark of this third quarter, Duke with just 15 shots for the game. Dyson has a goal earlier. Hensman stops it, then he found it.
It's gone.
Nice job by Henneman playing his angles. Good rebound control, patient with the ball. A goalie has 4 seconds in the crease after he makes a save, and it's a long 4. Really more like 5.
Jacoboy's now coming out of the box as Duke sets up. 40 seconds to shoot on this possession. Schamberger picks up Jacoboy's. Now Westland. Over to Dobson. Just scored his first goal tonight.
They got the switch.
Now he scores his second.
Tell you, talked about this offense earlier in the game. I don't think they're an elite passing offense, but what they are, they're really well scripted. They win matchups on the perimeter, and they put you in a position where if you don't slide, they're going to score on assisted goals, like right here, or if you go, they're going to get some nice one-look assisted type goals. This is not an offense that relies on rapid ball movement, ball reversal, side to side to side to side. Dobson gets the switch. He's got a shorty on him. He's given his left hand. He takes it. Pretty simple game right now for Notre Dame.
Second tonight, both of them coming here in the third quarter. The lead is 6. And Gallagher wins the draw.
This is quite a showing for Notre Dame. This is really, truly their first road trip of the season. They played up at Syracuse. What, did they take a charter up there, Chris? This trip is multiple nights, commercial flight, buses, hotels, the big mask with the N95 mask they have to travel in, testing over multiple days. 2 games here in the Research Triangle.
They'll play Carolina on the ACC network on Sunday before heading back home to finish their season against Syracuse on May 1st.
COVID has taken the fun and the ease of traveling for athletes and everybody.
Yeah, now it's just a nerve-wracking situation.
It is a no-win situation. It takes the college, going on the road. I love going on the road. It was, get away from campus. It was clear your mind. Always found I was more ready for road games than home games, and then the bonding opportunities, buses, airports, team meals. That's where the fun is. I'm taking that from
Led with a head of steam. Man, they're
taking that from all these young men.
Robertson. Yeah, it's been tough.
Post-game celebrations.
Has been
Post-game
tough for
celebrations. Very muted.
Fortunate for the Blue Devils to get that ball back. Denenza. Robertson just misses. That's twice now. That exact same play cue where they tried to get it to Robertson there on the wing. First time they failed. That time they got it to him. Just missed the target. Duke has been off target on their last 7 shots. Ledman's got a hard outside shot if he can just get an opening, and he can't.
24 in blue on D. Very good. Hallenbeck. He's a great cover man for a midfielder.
Now Sowers. And he scores an impossible shot. He beats Enseman, and that's what Sowers does. Duke's still alive.
Duke is still alive. Sowers posts up left-handed. Fadeaway jumper. Not sure Entenmann got a clear look at it. It's a 5-goal margin right now. Sowers and Keelty doing battle.
Koskinen with the signage in place. 9-4 our score, about midway through the third quarter. Michael Sowers just scoring his second of the night. Closing this margin now down to 5 for the Blue Devils. Gallagher now has evened up his numbers at the X. 5 out of 10 until that win by Naso. Yeah, Duke is just slightly better than 500. Naso 9-16. But again, here we go. The tough ride and the turnover. So the face-off win goes for naught. And Thornton is going to put it on Cage just wide, though.
John Danowski addressed, we kind of flat out brought it up. Said 8 failed clears. First time we played him, wasn't good enough. So it's not like they haven't been practicing this. You know, they've done it every day this week. Different clearing drills.
4 failed clears on the night for Duke. McCann inside. And that time Adler did a nice job of breaking out the passing lane.
Be that 7th defender. If your young goalie's watching this game, don't be afraid to come on out and be aggressive, picking off passes and getting ground balls.
Now Carpenter clears it. Nakai is streaming in. He can take a shot if he wants to. Instead, he opted to pass it.
Great checks. Good job, man.
Couldn't connect with Sowers, but look at those stick handling skills by Sowers and a whole lot of traffic to come out of there with it.
But Montgomery drew a flag when he got rid of that. He got dumped from behind. No flag down though. He's got to win this matchup. 15 in white. Nakai Montgomery's got to run by Dobson, who's an offensive midfielder.
Now he gets to the middle. He's 0 for 3 shooting though. That was exactly what he wanted to do, wasn't it, Q?
Roll back to his strong right hand. Dobson digging in now.
You good? Pick him right, Keelty, pick him right.
Sowers working on Keelty. Up top to O'Neal. He's got Arden Cohen on him. Now Nakai with a short stick. And it's an offensive midfielder at that, and Dobson. Gets underneath him, and he scores! Called it, Q. Take advantage of that mismatch.
That's what he's got to do. It's timely by Nakai, who's put together an outstanding season. You know, his passing skills have been what Paul Carcaterra and I have done a lot of talking about. But here, Dobson's left on an island. And Nakai Montgomery, folks, is not the type of guy you want to leave on an island. He is a terrific former high school football player. Gets by Dobson, no double team arrives. Nakai's production in the last 2 or 3 games has been down slightly. I'm not sure he's fully healthy. But that was a big goal to cut the margin now to 4.
Senior out of Dallas, Texas.
music lover, Nakai. I think he's a spirit guy. I think he's a leader on this team.
Yeah, old school music, too. Maybe not what you'd expect. Gallagher.
Fleetwood Mac is not what I would expect from Nakai.
From any college student. Even one who has John Danowski as his head coach. Obviously, there's some influence there.
He's got a bass, he's got a guitar, and a piano.
Nice.
Done great work at practice, according to Coach Danowski. And when a leader steps up and scores a goal like that to keep this game within range, it's significant.
Now Leahy with the ball in his cross, the Providence transfer.
Notre Dame can't stop at 9. I don't think 9's going to be good enough to win this game. I think you got to get to 10 or 11 to win this game.
And that'll help right there. Leahy buries it.
Look at the reactions. Look at the reactions. We were talking to Coach Corrigan. I said, Coach, I watched your team score goals this year, and the celebrations are epic. The guys clearly like one another. Well, that's easy to like one another when you're lighting up the number 2 or 3 team in the nation. But look at these celebrations. I mean, the joy, the spirit for a guy like Leahy to score his second goal of the season on a big Thursday night game. You got to be happy with everybody getting involved. Different names in the score sheet after that first half was all Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Leahy, the graduate transfer I mentioned from Providence, coming from Cranford, New Jersey. Very prolific scorer in his days with the Friars. That's just his second goal as a member of the Irish, but he had some injury issues. He's only played 5 games. I'm sure that's a big part of why the celebration was there, and the lead now back up to 5. And the best clearing team in college lacrosse gets it across that midfield line with no problem.
Kavanaugh stirs the drink when it comes to the celebrations. He's involved in so many of the goals, though, and he's so gritty, so tough. It's so authentic.
Slide comes on York. Out of Westland. Back up top to York. McCann. He gets hammered, and now we'll get a flag. All kinds of plastic popping. Westland stopped by Adler and a nice save. We'll get the call here. It's going to go against Duke. Adler with the 7th save of the night and a beauty.
Fouls on 2 white. JT Giles Harris for a hold. Nothing there. I thoroughly disagree with this call. If it was a hold, it wasn't on 2, I tell you that much.
Yeah, I think maybe it might have been before we saw JT Giles Harris come into the screen, so it may be erroneously called on him, but either way, it's a 30-second man up for the Irish. 1 for 2 on the night. York inside, ball pops up. Now Jacoboyce with a head up, looking to do something quickly. Dobson. Kavanaugh. Adler is there. Notre Dame kills off the penalty. The loose ball pushing the back, so possession goes to Duke. Duke kills off the penalty, rather. A little unsettled here for Duke. Can they take advantage? Walsh.
A Riley Walsh sighting. He always seems to pop up.
Shorty on him. Can he take advantage? Sowers.
See line! See line! Hey, Michael!
Question mark for Sowers. Ensign is there, but a loose ball snatched up right there by the Irish, as you would expect. Arden Cohen. And here we go the other way.
One and done.
10 saves on the night for Ensign.
Yeah, rebound control, such a strong trait of successful defense, where you make the stop, there's a rebound or a loose ball. I think about Maryland this year, and Ray Hill, McCarr, and Nick Grill. They're great off the ground. Well, this Notre Dame defense, they too are great off the ground. That was a wonderful ground ball play by 36, Arden Cohen.
Now Mo Meyer looks for some help and gets it in the form of Leahy.
By yourself. You do this. Give it to him. Check. Get out. Wait for him. Lady. Squeeze it.
Another graduate transfer, David Lipka from Syracuse.
Hey, slow. Ball.
Got his top hand free, but shot it over the cage.
Hear all the defensive communication going on. Righty.
Squeeze. No, I'm the
Kavanaugh getting popped by JT Giles Harris, loses the ball. We'll get a whistle.
That was great defense by JT Giles Harris. Kavanaugh dominated this game in the first half with 7 points, involved in every Notre Dame goal. That round won by JT Giles Harris.
Final minute of this third quarter. It's a big possession right here for the Duke Blue Devils. Down 5. Mentioned it all game long how difficult it is to come back against this Notre Dame team. So strong defensively, strong in goal, and strong at the faceoff X. Caputo got his man going the opposite way and scores with the left.
Number 13, Owen Caputo scores for Duke.
Little momentum now to end this third quarter. That's 3 of the last 4 goals scored by the Blue Devils. Forks are up. Look at Caputo, his ability to plant and change directions. Super quick, really strong. He's able to accelerate in just a few strides, and he paints a corner with liquid smoke. Duke back in business, only a 4-point game.
Owen and his brother Jake, and their dad and assistant coach on this team. Face-off violation, so here we go, Q. 20 seconds for Duke. Big 20 seconds in this game at the end of the third quarter. Nakai. Sowers now up top. He rolls back and looks for a cutter. Tries to use his quickness. Shoots over the top. 3.5 to play. Robertson tried to feed it inside for one last-ditch effort, couldn't connect. The Irish continue to lead. Duke at home fighting to keep it close. It's a 4-goal lead thanks to players like Eric Dobson.
5 ACC schools should make the NCAA tournament. Syracuse might have some dicey moments in the last couple weeks of the season. We'll see. But this weekend's action, important and intense. Notre Dame's on a 2-game sweep of the Research Triangle. They have this and then Carolina on Sunday. And you're calling a game on Saturday, correct, Connor? Virginia-Syracuse?
I'm calling the Sunday game. I'm calling that North Carolina-Notre Dame game with Clark on Sunday. I've got Boston College's spring game on Saturday, but that Syracuse game, by the way, moved to ESPN2 as that ball is deflected by the end line. So Syracuse and Virginia at noon on ESPN2 Saturday. And Q, you mentioned it. Syracuse doesn't want to sweat this thing out. A win against Virginia or even against Notre Dame at the end of the year salts it away for them.
A tough matchup for Syracuse, both facing off and defensively. And
the way this Notre Dame team has played tonight, as you can see how dominant they can be defensively, and then when Kavanaugh gets going on the offensive end, you certainly don't want to rely on that win on the road if you're Syracuse. Make sure you're getting into the NCAA tournament. Caputo.
What a stop. I don't know if that's a stop or a pipe, but that was looked like an absolute layup.
I didn't hear a ping. Right, I thought that was going to be a goal. The second of the night goes wanting, so it was a save by Entsman, his 11th. Now here's Nakai. You mentioned it to me in between periods. Number 8 for Duke, Joe Robertson, silent tonight.
This offense is getting a little better in the half-court sets as this game's gone on. Somebody's got to press a seam. Yeah, you got to press a seam to draw 2.
Caputo just gets hammered by that defense, though.
Cut it.
Now Sowers. So shifty. But Thornton is there. Coach talked about the communication that Thornton brings to the table. Penn transfer and how well these guys communicate with each other. Now Robertson will shoot. Doesn't get there, though. Like a hockey game, Q. I know you just did the NCAA hockey tournament. All these bodies in front. I've seen so many Duke shots now ricocheting off Notre Dame players before it even gets to goal.
Duke needs to score a transition goal.
Might be here with O'Neal. One-handed scores! A brilliant goal by freshman Brennan O'Neal.
Scores for Duke.
Well, this is ridiculous strength by Brennan O'Neal off the broken clear. And finally, Duke is able to score a non-6-on-6 settled goal. It's a transition goal. Sowers comes up with a loose change. One more to O'Neal. The big face dodge, and then right-handed, underhand. Again, one-handed whipper. He's got 2. That's 4 out of the last 5 goals in this game. At one point, it was 9-3. Duke's crawling their way back.
This is going to be huge for Notre Dame, and Gallagher wins another one. He and Naso have pretty much gone neck and neck all night long. Seen a little bit of Leonard earlier. York now goal line extended.
Yeah, dodging's not his game.
Westland gets Adler out of his cage. Now Schamberger checks him. Wilson Stevenson a little banged up tonight, so Schamberger getting the start at close defense. Here's McCann. Adler saw it all the way. 9 saves now for Adler.
Nothing's easy for Duke in the clearing.
Now down 3 goals. Aiden Denenza. Another freshman from St. Anthony's. Now Phil Robertson, Joe's brother, 41 in the game for Duke. Sowers. Ledman. Got a heavy shot. Misses it, but that ends is backing up. Ledman's a moose, 6'4", 225. Sowers on the opposite side of that scale. He uses quickness to beat his defender. 18 seconds to shoot for O'Neal and Duke. Inside, try to get it to Robertson. Now loose ball.
Let it go, let it go, let it go.
Initially picked up by Duke, but another great defensive stop there. Jack Keelty prevented Sowers from doing anything with it, and the shot clock winds down.
Defense all night in front of Liam Entenmann. Tall sophomore goalie, easy clears. They clean up the trash in front of the goal. They protect the paint, that dirty area in front, and they'll give you some weak-angled shots, but this defense has been up to the task tonight.
And guys like Nick Harris, 77, who just had the ball in his cross, knocking over defenders. Physical in the middle of the field. That was only the 4th shot clock violation against Duke all season, Q.
Who's under?
Wow.
It's amazing. Under 10 to play. Tenenz is hung out here too, number 88 for Duke. That's a matchup that McCann wants to take advantage of. Feeds in front, and Meyer scores!
Simplicity has its payoff. Starts with great defense. McCann draws 2. Meyer, the easy right-handed step down. And he makes it count from about 10 yards. I mean, this is about as good as a look as you'll get. He takes his time, takes a strong plant, 3/4 arm release, and he stings a corner. He's had a big year. The senior from San Diego, California.
And Gallagher wins another. And just when you think Duke is going to make a run, Notre Dame scores. They win a face-off. Now they can run some clock. And it becomes that much more difficult for Duke to be able to close this down. They got it to within 3. But to your point a little earlier, Q, you get the sense that Duke is going to have to score some in transition, get a juice goal here or there to turn the momentum around. And every time it looks like they may be able to do that, Notre Dame gets possession, winds a little clock, and then scores. And it's Riley Gray. We talked about how Coach said, watch out for this young man. He's really starting to put it together in practice. Now he's rewarded with playing time and a goal.
Tell you, this is a great example for all the young players who may be watching us. Riley Gray is not a guy on my board until we talk to Coach. He said, you know, he's playing well enough in practice that we're going to give him some runs. And you get a chance, you make a play, you hear the reaction from the bench, you see the celebration. That's hard work paying off. Hard Matt, Brendan, Chris, got a sister Colleen. They're all outstanding college athletes. Parents Kevin and Mary watching. I know they'd be in Durham with all the parents of both these teams. No fans. Hang in there, folks. Hope you're all enjoying the game tonight.
Loose ball push against Notre Dame on the face-off, so it'll go to Duke. You know, I was looking at Kavanaugh's numbers coming into this game, Q. 8th in the country in scoring per game. He leads the NCAA in assists per game at almost 4, but he also leads this Notre Dame team in ground balls in terms of every player other than a face-off man, which I thought that was something too.
It is. Ground balls and cause turnovers. And it compares favorably to a guy like Michael Sowers, who's a Tuarton potential finalist.
The Kai beat his man and scores, and that's exactly what Duke needs. They need quick goals, and they get one here, now down 4 with just over 8 minutes to go in this game.
Talking about Kavanaugh, it's easy to like Kavanaugh and the way he plays. I can say the same about Nakai Montgomery. He only knows one speed, and if you leave him on an island, and it's a shorty, he's going to beat the guy. Trust me. Why Notre Dame doesn't send a double team on Nakai Montgomery, that is the ultimate disrespect. Turn and rake, baby. Nakai with the wing dodge.
Well, on his first goal, he beat Dobson, who was an offensive midfielder. That time, it was a much more difficult task, and taking on Hallenbeck, and he was able to get to the cage and bury it. His second of the night.
Nakai's a future pro. There's a lot of future pros in this game, actually, with the Premier Lacrosse League draft coming up next week. The hard thing this year is to figure out who's actually a senior and who's coming back.
Yeah, Nakai's one of those cats, you know, senior in terms of class.
JT Giles Harris will be drafted high. He'll play pro. Michael Sowers will be drafted high by the PLL. He'll play pro. I can see a guy like Kyle Thornton being drafted Jack Keelty is a pro. Not sure if he's coming back to Notre Dame or not.
McCann had a step on Jake Caputo. Opted to take it behind the cage. Still 30 to shoot for the Irish as the clock winding down to that 7-minute mark. McCann is open. He shoots, but Adler is there. Now the race to the ball to get to the end line. And Adler wins it. Good hustle play by the Duke goalie.
Notre Dame does a good job of dropping deep in their ride, backing up their heels to the midfield line and clogging up the middle of the field right here.
Broward just got it across.
Yeah, putting the defense under a little pressure.
Now Brower's under a lot of pressure, and he does get rid of it.
Well, they're not giving up transition goals, Notre Dame. They're not giving up any extra man goals. They don't foul. And have they been in the penalty box all night?
No penalties for the Irish. Couple for Duke.
Win faceoffs. They make saves. I mean, this is a balanced and complete team.
Riley gets the door shut on him by Cassidy. Sowers. Walsh. Quigley. O'Neal just gets that big body in motion. Saved by Ensign.
See it? He decides, and he's gone. Tough to stop.
It's a rare failed clear for Notre Dame, though. Walsh opts not to push the pace. Instead, waits for Nikai.
We're holding your side.
Sowers. Well, we've seen him score. That's almost automatic. How many times in his career have we seen him score on that exact play? Couldn't do it here.
10 minutes.
Nice job of riding by Robertson. He'll get possession back to Duke. He looks to go quickly, but we get a whistle. I think we're going to get Duke offside here. I think that's going to go against Dyson Williams. No, it's not. Braden Burke, the LSM.
Penalty is on Duke, number 35, Braden Burke, 36.
Outstanding extra man unit for Notre Dame this year. Coming to this game, they're 15 of 22. 68%, number one in the country. Said it earlier, the guys who scare me. Dobson up top, 8 in blue with his feet set, left-handed. I want no part of that. Top of your screen, Will York, 99 in blue from the wing. Scary left-handed release.
Coming into this game, leading the nation with 7-man-up goals is York, 99. There he is. Now Westland. They get Kavanaugh in front, and Adler is there. And again, another race to the end line, which he wins. Duke should be able to kill this man down in a critical possession with under 5 to play. Back at even strength as Carpenter flings it to the middle of the field. O'Neal. Caputo thought better of it. Now to Nikai. Caputo scores! Great feed from Robertson. And Duke is just hanging around.
Goal scored by number 13.
Starts with the effort by the goaltender to chase the shot down. The possession, sharp, crisp passing. You got to jam the ball inside against this Notre Dame defense. The catch-22 and the tough spot is sometimes you do and it doesn't work. You know, and then guys will be like, well, you're forcing the ball inside. But that's where this defense typically and historically has been vulnerable. So that's a good handle under duress. Back-to-back goals for Duke.
Saw Corrigan with some coaching there. His team still up 3 goals. Critical face-off. Loose ball picked up by the Blue Devils.
The big face-off win is right, Chris.
But the clear has got to be a part of it. Keep an eye on that shot clock in red. JT Giles Harris with 5 to get it across, and he does. Will they look to strike quickly? O'Neal on Cohen. Now Sowers with Keelty on him. To Dyson Williams. Got a shorty on him, so here's a skilled, basically an attackman with a mismatch. Gets to the front of the cage, and Entenmann is there.
Great angle play by Entenmann, holding his ground with that wide base. That's where his size at 6'3" comes in handy.
Now Sowers on the ride. Gets possession back to Duke. Now 3 minutes to play. Duke down 3. Robertson just gets hammered. Slow to get up. I don't know if Duke has a cryo chamber, Q, but these players could certainly use it after this game. Physical. Caputo now back to his left.
They got some off time. Notre Dame's got to come back on Sunday.
Correct. Now to Kai. Looking to work on Hallenbeck. Scores!
Wow. Clutch. 3 goals in the second half for Nakai Montgomery. Righty from Dallas, Texas, the senior. He has really picked it up as he's sensed that this game was getting away from Duke at 9-3, and since that point he scored 3 to make it a 2-goal game. Huge, huge face-off looming.
9th career hat for Montgomery, and he scored those 3 goals in about 5 minutes' time. Been a while since this was a 2-goal game. Naso battling and gets the face-off. Now to O'Neal. Duke has a timeout. Notre Dame has 2. Williams looking to work on the shorty. Over to Nakai. On Cassidy. On front to Robertson, who was open, but they turn it over. The pass too high.
You got to ride if you're Duke right now. You can't sit back. So you go 10-man, you pull your goalie, and you do the full court press.
Jacobois is on his horse. Now spins back to the middle of the field. That's an opportunity for Duke. Loose ball. Picked up by Notre Dame. Now we get a whistle.
Offside.
Cassidy took the shot. And it looks like Hugh, yeah, that's going to be the call. Hoping to hear it from our official, but I think that's the call. The offsides and the turnover gets it back to Duke, but this is a tough clear. Carpenter gets it done. And a timeout from Coach Danowski. 1:21 left to go, down 2. He'll try and draw something up for a quick goal. And once again, a few minutes ago, it didn't look like we were going to have a thriller here, but now, especially if Duke can score on this possession, we've got one once again. And we've had a ton of them, Q, pretty much every Thursday.
Thursday night, the scoring has been off the charts. You turn on the lights in the ACC, and it's been magic. Duke beats Cuse by a goal. Overtime, it's Joe Robb taking down the Tar Heels from Durham. Last week, Joe Robb does it again. I tell you, the ACC Congratulations to the league office, these schools. I hope the fans have enjoyed it. It has been outstanding, and I hope it continues forever. It's a standalone game that kicks off the weekend that the fans can just grab onto.
John Danowski, his son Matt Danowski, the offensive coordinator. If you're one of the Danowskis here, Q, what are you drawing up? What do you think Duke wants to do here offensively?
Done a much better job in the second half. Seems like more wing dodge areas. It's not from top center, but from the wings, where they carry the ball across the front of the formation, and then they're having some decent looks inside. I think they've done a better job of putting some defenders, some interior defenders, in a conflict position. That's, do I double team? And if you didn't, Nakai Montgomery runs right down the middle and score. Or if you do double, they're leaving some dangerous threats open inside. That's kind of their offense in the second half.
Sowers has 2 goals. Robertson has just the 1 assist that he got moments ago. Might be his time. Nakai had his pass initially deflected. Now a big ground ball picked up by O'Neal. Caputo on Cassidy. Behind the cage, here's Sowers. Working on Keelty, tries to use his screen, can't get it. Now he's got a short stick on him. Defender fell down. Robertson hits a pipe. Hit the pipe, so it wasn't over and back, so a fresh 80, but that's not really what concerns Duke right now. They need a goal quickly. Sowers, he scores! Giving the Blue Devils life.
What a shot by Sowers. Wow, I tell you, there's a lot going on there. The first look was an A-grade chance. I mean, a brilliant chance. And they hit the crossbar. JT Giles-Harris does a great job at the midline to keep it alive. And Sowers from 15, while well covered, puts that one in the perfect spot. Right off of Entenmann's hip. That's the toughest save in the business. You see the young goaltender, he's there. He's just a hair late. Game on. This face-off is about as big as it gets.
13 all as well, Q, at the face-off. X coming into this one. Gallagher and Naso. Ball gets kicked out. Still loose. Collision, and it's going to go to Duke as the ball rolled out of bounds to the Blue Devils. And they were looking to go quickly.
They're going to have to reset the clock because the clock ran there.
Yeah. The officials thought too quickly and blew the whistle. As Ledman looks at his cross, and we're getting the clock now adjusted to make sure we're all on the same page. Notre Dame, remember, had a 5-0 lead in this game, 9-3 in the third quarter.
I love this. You got
Duke has just
Oregon.
scratched.
Oregon on the left with his hands in his pockets. Danowski on the right with his hands in his pockets. The two combined for
Neither one of them pleased. Right. They both leave
700 wins. 700, 800 wins between the two of them.
Neither one of them looks pleased when they walk away. One of them has to be pleased. Well, there's not 26 minutes left to go in this game.
That would be good if you're a Blue Devil fan.
26 seconds. So 26 seconds. Ledman puts it in play. And he runs by his defender. Notre Dame has a couple of timeouts left. It's Sowers is going to shoot and score the tying goal.
I mean, this is a bomb from downtown. This isn't like, what are you doing shooting from 16 yards, Michael Sowers? Left-handed down the alley. I mean, he's at distance, and he pings the far corner. The perfect shot. Twice in a row, Michael Sowers had made down the stretch here. Duke was down 12-7. They've rattled off 5 straight to tie it with about 10 seconds to go in the game. I mean, you talk about clutch.
How about him looking at his teammates and saying, it's all good. I got this. Chill. 2 goals here in the final minute. The goal to get him to within 1 and the tying goal. Now I mentioned those timeouts, and Notre Dame uses one of them with 8 seconds left.
Well, a lot of credit goes to during the comeback to Duke's face-off game. They cleaned that up. Their defense is, after that Gray goal, obviously they've pitched the shutout. And Nakai Montgomery being a catalyst, and then Sowers. Just 2 brilliant shots. I mean, for him to put the one offside hip to make it 12-11, for him to peg the corner to make it 12-12 with 13.6 to go. Now it comes down to defense. Pat Cavanaugh was the star for Notre Dame in the first half. He's kind of gone silent in the second half. It's been more of a midfield offense for the Irish in the
0
second
points.
half. Guys like Dobson, Leahy, Mo Meyer, and Gray getting involved in the scoring. I think they'll go back to their star, Patrick Cavanaugh, 51 in white.
He had 7 points in the first half, Q. 0 here in the second half. He was a part of every single Notre Dame goal in that first half.
Thursday Night Thrillers does it again.
It's Duke right now. They need a goal quickly.
Left hand. I mean, that's from 16 yards. Perfection. That shot right there, Chris, is as good as you could. It's a 3/4 arm release, high release, and he just paints the lower corner, and you heard it hit metal. Unstoppable.
Here comes Cavanaugh. Beat his defender, JT Giles Harris, and he scores, but the whistle blew beforehand. He lost a shoe, and he still beat JT Giles Harris and still scored, but the whistle blew. An equipment malfunction.
In possession of the ball, Notre Dame should keep the ball.
Oregon can't believe it.
He can't believe it. He's won 321 games. He just scuffed him. JT Giles Harris just
gave him a flat tire.
Yep, gave him a flat tire, and they blow the whistle.
Wily veteran. What a veteran move, as if he meant to do that. I'm sure he did. Double knots. Our officials discuss it with Coach Corrigan. It looks like we're going to have 4.7 on the clock. How unfortunate, because what a move by Cavanaugh to blow right by JT Giles Harris. Now the shot straight up in the air, saved by Adler. Hey, Q, guess what? Overtime on a Thursday night.
Thursday Night Thriller delivers again in our final week. It looked like it wouldn't. 12-7 Notre Dame lead. Duke comes back with 5 straight to tie it.
We're all knotted up at 12. A Pierce Sixer on a Thursday night. Free lacrosse. He has gone pointless in the second half, even though it looked like he might have gotten the game winner before he did it without his shoe.
Sowers doing his damage from in front of the goal. Face-offs even in this game, 14 apiece.
Now Naso gets the advantage, and Duke with possession. Danowski calls a timeout. That Duke bench is pumped. Q, they had very little life all night long. They were down the entire game, and it looked like it was going to be just too high of a hill to climb, being down 4 and 5 goals to this Notre Dame defense, but they somehow managed to do it, and they rode their star, Michael Sowers, and Nakai Montgomery, their veteran, out of the midfield to get him there.
Well, this game is far from over, but you have to give Duke some credit for the comeback. Down 7-3 at the break. They played better defense in the second half. Cavanaugh ran roughshod over him in the first half with the 7 points, 7-3 lead. And then, I don't know if it was Adler or JT Giles Harris defensively, but not giving up any garbage or easy goals and just continuing to battle and to fight. And I think Nakai Montgomery was really the difference maker in this ball game. He's the energy guy. When he scores, the bench comes to life. When he scores, the celebrations have meaning. And from that, Michael Sowers says, well, today is my day. I'm showing up to the party today and scoring the biggest goals in my Duke career. So Montgomery and Sowers delivering in the fourth quarter.
Remember, they were out shooting. Notre Dame was out shooting Duke 23-3 in the first half when Kavanaugh was just owning them defensively. I remember at one point they had 9 turnovers queued to 1 goal. It was just completely lopsided in that first half to the Irish. And
First quarter was 16 shots for Notre Dame, 3. Duke had 6 turnovers and 3 shots in the first quarter. They missed the action. It was a 4-0 Notre Dame lead. So Sowers has the hot hand. Nakai Montgomery played a brilliant fourth quarter. But guess who's in overtime? Joe Robertson.
Number 8. There he is on the top of your screen. Dyson Williams will put it in play. Sowers. Now to O'Neal, the freshman's got a shorty on him. Takes a shot. Entenmann kicks it aside. Yeah, fresh shot clock
North
here
Carolina.
now.
Carolina and Virginia game winners.
Robertson. Now Sowers up top. Down the alley. Got a step. Curls back inside. Nope.
Good recovery by Keelty with that poke check.
Now Cassidy switches to him.
Matchup.
This is what Sowers wants. Gets to the middle of the field. Just whistles it wide. I think that hit our microphone back there. Nakai was covering.
Thought he settled. Thought he had more there.
Nakai now. Dyson Williams in traffic, and a lot of
That's
traffic
gotta be
gets stumped.
something.
Now we get a flag. Now it'll be a delayed call. It's not even going to be a loose. Will it be? No, it will not. So play continues. This is going to be a man-up situation for Duke if they don't score here.
Imperative that Duke doesn't foul or commit any kind of technical violation with a flag down. Basically, this gives them a free chance to try to make.
Are they just waiting on it right here? It looks like he's waiting now. Now he's going to go. Sowers. Double team comes. Look at the attention. Caputo just ricochets off a defender. Now we'll get the call.
30-second hold, gentlemen. Blue 24 hold, 30-second foul. Blue 24 hold, 30
An obvious call that these officials had to make here in overtime. Ball was jammed inside to Dyson Williams, who did a remarkable job, Chris, the way he caught this one-handed. 51 and white, the lefty out of Canada, played at the Hill Academy, does a good job of catching it. He's in a dangerous spot there, so Notre Dame takes him down.
Allen back guilty of the infraction.
Situations.
So we'll see Duke first man up of the night in overtime. O'Neal up top. That's Cam Moulay, number 21. Man up specialist. Inside to Moulay. He scores the game winner. Duke once again finds a way to win a game in overtime. That's the third one this year. They're 3-0.
Tell you, that one stings if you're Kevin Corrigan and the Fighting Irish, because you basically outplayed Duke for 3.5 quarters. I mean, you thoroughly outplayed them. You had a 12-7 lead.